welcome to ET Now Startup Central, India's first and only daily show dedicated to startups and entrepreneurship. I'm Chandra Srikanth, joining you live from India Startup Hub, Bangalore, and we certainly have a very power-packed show for you over the next 20 minutes. Good to have you back, Krishna.
Absolutely, Chandra. Good to be back here. First up, let's get a check on all the headlines here at ET Now Startup Central. SoftBank's investors call for an internal probe to dismiss heir apparent Nikesh Arora, even as a Bloomberg report says the investors have questioned Arora's business decisions in the past. SoftBank slams the allegations, throwing his weight behind Nikesh. SoftBank CEO Masayoshi Son says he has complete trust in Nikesh. Digital communications will be the way forward, says outgoing Facebook India CEO Kirtiga Reddy in an exclusive chat with ET Now. Reddy says that despite the loss of face with free basics, Facebook continues to gain significant traction here in India because of huge ad spends. Time names Sachin and Binny Bansal, the founders of India's biggest e-commerce marketplace Flipkart, to the 2016 Time 100, its annual list of the 100 most influential people in the world. Weeks after the Transport Department in Karnataka started cracking the whip, cab aggregators have finally toed the line by applying for an operator's license. A growing number of startups are using automated messaging to help consumers do everything from hailing cabs to paying bills. We get you an exclusive conversation with the founder and CEO of Gupshup, which has launched a brand new bot building platform. Is 2016 then the year of the bots? And in our special segment, 3 Mistakes, Nandan Nilekani shares the 3 mistakes of his life that you can learn from. Straight to the big story of the day, not just here on ET Now Startup Central, but across the world. SoftBank's president Nikesh Arora, considered a rock star in the startup world here, is facing the ire of a group of investors who have called for an internal probe against him, questioning his investment track record and the potential conflicts of interest. SoftBank, meanwhile, has hit back, stating that these are unsubstantiated allegations, throwing his weight behind Nikesh. SoftBank CEO Masayoshi Son says he has complete trust in the Indian-born CEO, and who better than Chandra to fill us in. Chandra, tell us what exactly has prompted such a move, and more importantly, what is the way forward?
Right, so Krishna, before I take you through what really prompted and what happened, let me take you through what Nikesh Arora has said. We got a statement from him a while back where he says that he takes fiduciary responsibilities very seriously and that he has always put the interests of SoftBank and Sprint's stakeholders above everything else, and that's really the way he's always conducted himself professionally. He's also said that these allegations are baseless, in fact, and that's a tone that's getting echoed not just by SoftBank but also its founder Masayoshi Son, who, remember, said that Nikesh Arora would mostly be his heir apparent when he chooses to retire. So Masayoshi Son has also thrown his weight behind Nikesh Arora. But coming to the allegations itself, Bloomberg says that a law firm in the US wrote to the SoftBank board in January this year, claiming to represent a section of investors who were really unhappy with Nikesh Arora, his appointment as president, his pronouncement as heir apparent, and his compensation. They have detailed some of the issues that these investors had with Nikesh Arora. For one, they have questioned his compensation. I mean, it's no secret that he's one of the highest paid executives in the world. They've also questioned his conflict of interest related issues because he also has an advisory role at PE firm Silver Lake. And thirdly, they've also questioned his investment track record, particularly citing an Indian startup there, Housing.com. So those are some of the concerns they've listed, and they said that they're really not sure if he is working towards the interest of stakeholders of both companies or if he's self-serving, and that there should be an internal probe by the company against him. But even if you look at analysts who have reacted to that, they don't really see any ground in this, that, why are these allegations coming all of a sudden? And Nikesh Arora does have a good track record. If you look at the success he spun at Google, he left Google when he was Chief Business Officer, one of the most important positions in the company, and ever since he took charge at SoftBank, he's really made some headline-grabbing investments. India too, he made a series of investments. The only one, of course, that went into trouble was housing, but the others being, Snapdeal, Oyo, Inmobi, of course, already was funded by SoftBank. So these are some of the other investments that he led. Ola, of course. So it really remains to be seen, how substantial these allegations will be going forward, if they're really able to prove anything. The lawyers have said that, if SoftBank does not reply, they will consider further course of action, which could possibly be legal action. But for now, people are not really sure if, this is warranted. But remember, US really has a history of activist lawyers, activist shareholders. So we really have to wait and see if, this is yet another example of that. But for now, people not too worried about, the trouble mounting for Nikesh Arora, considering the company, the founder, everyone has really thrown their weight behind him. But clearly, Krishna, this is a development that the Indian ecosystem will watch very keenly, because he's a writer of some very big checks here.
Oh, absolutely. SoftBank has been a major investor in the country, and the reason why the investments in the country in India has grown is probably attributed to Nikesh Arora and none else. Chandra, just wanted to understand how much of a threat is this for Nikesh Arora, and what is the way forward? Are we looking at a very tumultuous period for Nikesh Arora once he takes over?
I doubt it at this point. It certainly, generates a lot of headlines when you say that the second most important person in SoftBank is being probed. A person who enjoys a rock star status in the Indian startup ecosystem is facing fire. All these are very good headlines, but I really doubt at this stage how substantial these could be, or if this is just an attempt by activist shareholders. Remember, SoftBank also claims that these are unknown investors, so they really don't know the identity of the investors at this stage. So we have to see how much influence they really wield going forward, and if this is enough to dislodge Nikesh Arora in a sense, because he's really been leading the charge as far as SoftBank's internet strategy is concerned, particularly in emerging markets. If you look at the kind of investments that he's led in India and Korea, he's really been at the forefront of it. He's also, completely enjoyed the confidence of Masayoshi Son, which is why within a year of him quitting Google and joining SoftBank, Masayoshi Son indicated that Nikesh would most likely be his successor. And this is coming from a Japanese company, which is, usually resistant to outsiders taking charge at their companies. So that was a huge vote of confidence for him. Also remember, he announced a mega buyback plan for SoftBank shares amounting to hundreds of millions of dollars. So that also was a sign that Nikesh is committed to SoftBank going forward, if he's buying shares of SoftBank worth hundreds of millions of dollars. So I guess, Krishna, and also, if you look at the VC and PE investments, it is a high-risk business. Some of them fail, some of them you win some, you lose some. So, questioning his track record in that sense, I'm not sure how substantial it will be, but we'll really have to wait and see. This is a developing story.
Absolutely, it is a developing story, and I'm sure Chandra will be bringing us the latest on this story as and when they come by. But for now, let's move on here on the show. Facebook may have burnt its fingers in India over free basics, but it continues to generate significant traction when it comes to advertising spends. Facebook India's outgoing managing director Kirtika Reddy, who is set to relocate to the US, spoke exclusively to ET Now Startup Central in Bengaluru on their plans for video specifically going forward. Listen in.
When we started Facebook in India, I remember people asking me, really, are there ads on Facebook? Yeah. Now we are at a point where over 85% of the top 100 advertisers in the country use Facebook as an integral part of their marketing mix. We have over 2 million SME pages who are on Facebook here in India. So it's pretty incredible to see that journey. Facebook certainly has focused on innovating for India. For example, we developed a click-to-miss call ad unit, which, like it suggests, lets you, while you're looking at an ad on Facebook, just with a click of a button, generate a missed call. And we know of the number of use cases in this country. And nowhere other than India would you think about something like this.
Everybody talks about the biggest beneficiaries of this boom being Google and Facebook for the amount of ads that get pushed digitally. So has that really been the trigger, the game changer?
We're in a country that has the highest growth rate of internet adoption, of mobile internet adoption, of smartphone growth. So when the consumers are there, that's where marketers want to be. And that's what our platform enables, allowing brands to reach people in the most effective and efficient manner.
Right. And video is going to be the next big game for you. I mean, we are already seeing so much of traction on Facebook video compared. I mean, it's really going to give YouTube a scare going forward. But again, is India going to be a huge thing? Because, now with 4G coming, with the Jio coming, everybody's betting on video.
We are seeing an explosion of video on the platform. If you look at our global numbers, 8 billion video views every single day, over 500 million people watching videos, over 100 million hours of video watch every single day. Right? Communication is becoming very visual. We have seen that transition on the platform where people have gone from text to photos to videos. And going forward, we do envision the world of augmented reality and virtual reality. And we have seen correspondingly just an explosion in terms of creative formats on the platform. Even if you look at what we at Facebook have done, whether it's with live video, whether it's with 360 video, and by the way, it's catering to all spectrums. It's the 4G, but also thinking about the large population that's on 2G and 3G. So going back to the theme of innovating for India, for example, we developed a unit called a slideshow unit, which takes a series of pictures and it shows the pictures for a video-like experience that can even deliver on the smartphone on a 2G network, but give you a video-like experience. We're very excited about video. We're very excited about what brands are doing with video and the kind of results that...
so everything really seems to fall in place as far as India is concerned. Is it going to be one of the most crucial markets for Facebook going forward? Considering Zuckerberg has also spoken so much about it.
Today, India is the second largest market for Facebook in India. For Facebook globally. And we have a lot of tailwind behind us given the macro factors that we spoke about. And there is huge focus on building for India, innovating for India, and building the right solutions for the people who use the products and services, as well as the brands who use our products and services.
Krishna, to a global voice there, to two Indians who've made it to a global list. And I'm really talking about Flipkart's founder, Sachin and Binny Bansal, who've made it to the Time list of 100 most influential people in the world. Remember, that is a coveted power list, and after a bout of bad news, valuation markdowns, top-level exits, some good news coming in for Flipkart today. And talking about, being part of that list, Sachin and Binny Bansal said that they are very humbled and that this is a validation of the important role that Flipkart is playing in the internet ecosystem in India and really changing lives of Indians. So, Krishna, I guess even as they fend off competition from Amazon, Snapdeal, this will be something to cheer about in the medium term.
Oh, certainly. An Indian-born, Indian-made startup founders finding themselves as the top 100 most influential people in the world. It's certainly a feather in the cap even for India and the startup ecosystem over here, Chandra, if I may. But in the meanwhile, not so good news, but however, startups keeping up with all the bad news. Weeks after the Transport Department in Karnataka started cracking the whip, cab aggregators have finally toed the line by applying for an operator's license. Now, while the Transport Department has asked them to furnish some additional details, the move is crucial as it comes at a time when they are facing a heavy crackdown in one of their largest markets, which is Bengaluru. Now, more than 300 cabs of both Ola and Uber have been seized for continuing with surge pricing in the city. The guidelines meanwhile state that only government-regulated fares must be charged apart from installing digital meters and furnishing security deposits. With surge pricing still continuing in Bengaluru, we will have to wait and watch if Ola/Uber will put an end to it in the near future. Back to you, Chandra, in Bengaluru. Hope surge pricing is not pinching your pockets.
Krishna, surge pricing has become a national issue now, with Arvind Kejriwal also imposing limits. But a lot of people have criticized the move, because, when airplanes and hotels talk about dynamic pricing, nobody really cracks down on that. So why are we really interfering in, market-related pricing? But I guess I'm happy if there's no surge pricing from a consumer perspective. But moving on to that, to another interesting story that we have, we're talking about a company called Gupshup, which really helps build bots that can help startups reach you and me through messaging platforms. So they were really doing this, through mails, through messages. But now I guess they will drive recognition, and they will drive brand value by coming on chat platforms and messaging apps. To really understand this, to know more about this, we have a chat with Gupshup's CEO Biraj Sheth. Krishna caught up with him in Mumbai. Let's listen in.
We want to be the bot platform, the bot building platform. Every business, every brand, not just the e-commerce companies, but every traditional brand as well, is going to have to build a bot strategy. They're going to need bots, and I think we have the most advanced tools that make it really, really easy to build bots. It's the easiest and fastest way to do it.
All right. The thing is that chat is more of a personal platform, unlike, say, a Facebook or Twitter. How do you, plan to use it as a marketing tool without getting too invasive?
Absolutely. I think it's important for the bots to behave well, to build trust. And once you build trust, you become a trusted advisor. You can offer, recommendations to the customer without being intrusive, right? So unsolicited messages, spam would be very intrusive. I don't think that would work. In fact, every consumer in these platforms will have the ability to block a bot if they're not behaving well, right? So the point is, if you deliver, it's a value exchange, right? If you're delivering interesting content, if you're delivering useful value, then the customer will give you permission to send them advertising messages as well, right? But if you don't, then I think if you violate that trust, it's not going to succeed.
All right, talk to us about ad tech as a space, as a whole. How is it evolving in the Indian context?
I think ad tech has had a lot of challenges, right? So in the mobile and app space in particular, ad tech has actually struggled, right? It succeeded for a while, but now it's going to reach its limit. Most consumers don't download apps, so the cost per installs are growing up. On top of it, there are many instances of these incent marketing, as it's called, where they pay users to download the app and then uninstall it, which is creating a lot of problems for brands and for ad tech companies.
India is typically a market where monetizing of the online business is difficult, has been difficult, is continuing to remain difficult. Will this chatbots will be the way forward?
I definitely think so, for a variety of reasons, right? I think the cost of acquisition, for example, will be lower. One of the challenges to monetizing is when your cost of acquisition is really high, you can never make enough money over that, right? The other aspect is Indian startups and developers now will be able to reach a global market of 5 to 6 billion users, which is what messaging apps reach, right? Unlike the web, which is very limited. Even in India itself, right, there are many more users of messaging apps like WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger than people who use the web, who use the internet, and so on. So I think it dramatically expands the market size, it expands the reach, it increases the amount of engagement, and that should lead to more transactions and better economics. Absolutely.
And with that, it's time now for our special segment on the show, 3 Mistakes. And today we have none other than Nandan Nilekani telling you his 3 mistakes as an entrepreneur. Listen in and learn.
Well, one mistake very early on is when we tried to make hardware and we didn't do very well at that and realized that we are really a software company. The second thing was perhaps not starting our own marketing and branding much faster, which we did subsequently. I think these are the 2 things which I remember.
Krishna, I certainly learned a lot from that, but coming to the final segment of the day, which is number crunch, it's a very interesting number. The number we are crunching for you today is 47. Now, according to data from Traction, that's the number of clones that Amazon has inspired around the world. I mean, Amazon started as an online commerce player, and it's inspired 47 companies around the world to follow suit. And of course, we have examples in India, though they would not like to be called Amazon clones. We of course have the likes of Flipkart, Snapdeal, ShopClues, and the story is similar whichever part of the globe you look at. I guess, people like talking about network effects. This would be an example of that. I mean, the amazing impact that Jeff Bezos is having on just every economy in the world. But of course, a lot of these players have to be wary because Amazon is entering pretty much every market, and the story is similar in India as well. So the fight's going to be tough.
Oh, the fight's going to be very tough, Chandra. But on that note, we've completely run out of time here in this edition of ET Now Startup Central. Thank you so much for watching. But don't go anywhere. Keep watching ET Now, because coming up next is Market Watch.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow, and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.